Now available in paperback, John Haynes at Death's Door. The man who rules the world takes on the Greek god of death in this action-packed John Haynes series adventure. Pick up your copy of John Haynes at Death's Door at Amazon.com and other online booksellers everywhere. One of my viewers wanted me to talk about the racism that goes on in football. And by football, I don't mean the NFL slave plantation where black players are exploited on the regular by white owners. I'm talking about football, which is considered to be the world's most popular sport, also known as soccer. Now, your soccer has been plagued with racist incidents for decades, and sadly, as the decades have gone on, there hasn't been much progress as related to keep preventing these racist incidents from going on all across the globe. Now, your football racism that's going on in football really proves my point about how white supremacy is global. And what's really troubling is that in many of these countries where football is played, people openly participate in anti-black racism towards African American and African players on the regular. And incidents of this racism come from people singing racist songs to some people going out here and impersonating Adolf Hitler to throwing bananas on a soccer field and participating in incidents such as going out here and racially profiling some of the players before and after the game. And in addition to this, many black players, whether they be African or African American or African descent, have to deal with bias on the field, and they have to deal with them getting penalties for things that white players get a pass from. And even worse, sometimes they even have to deal with racism on the field from even their players that they're on the team with. So the racism that goes on in your soccer is very prevalent, and it's an ongoing thing that sadly is not really being addressed effectively, because even though numerous bodies and numerous institutions have gone out here and tried to find ways to combat the racism, oftentimes the anti-black racism continues to go on regularly on these soccer fields. And as it's going on these soccer fields, players who are black or of African descent continue to have to deal with abuse, whether they're on the field or off the field. And again, these incidents range from players being racially profiled as they go out here and travel to games, or when they're on their way to a game, they are hassled as they're going to the stadium or to the hotel, or they wind up having, as they're playing, to deal with so-called fans going out here and singing racist songs or going out here and making racist chants. This is what players on the regular in your soccer have to deal with. They have to deal with constant abuse. And sadly, in some of these countries which have racist cultures, such as China and many other European countries, this behavior is just given a complete pass. I mean, the mainstream media really won't talk too much about this. They won't talk about things like this going on at the World Cup, but they'll sit there and make it look like it's a place for so-called diversity. But there's been anti-black racism going on at these games for decades, and sadly, in spite of the best efforts by organizations like FIFA to try to deal with it since about 2013, it really hasn't really put a dent in things, because as I see it, the only way to really deal with these kinds of racists is not with penalties that come from organizations which really basically give your racist a slap on the wrist, because soccer is a billion-dollar business, and since it's a billion-dollar business, they don't really want to go out here and really punish these racist players or punish the fans, because again, soccer fans are known for being extremely violent. So a lot of times people don't want to deal with the soccer fans who participate in the racist chants or do things like throw bananas on the field to say that a black player is some sort of animal. And because most people don't want to deal with the trouble as related to the soccer fans, what most of these bodies do is again give a pass to this behavior, which again enables and encourages individuals to continue participating in this behavior. And the only solution to dealing with this racism that goes on in the world's most popular sport is for black people to go out here and stop supporting this whole game. And again, just like I talked about in my UFC video, the only way for black people to deal with anti-black racism perpetrated by people all over the world is to go out here and stop investing your dollars into this in this soccer game. The same way you don't invest money in UFC is the same way you deal with soccer, because the solution here for dealing with racists is to go out here and not support those racists, because every time you spend $1 on a World Cup or a FIFA game, what you are doing is sending a message that it's okay to go out here and disrespect a African American, or individual of African descent, and that it's okay to go out here and verbally abuse, use racial slurs, or even participate in actions that are extremely racist. And when you go out here and spend money on this, you are encouraging racists to continue participating in their racist behavior. But the only way you deal with this racist is to go out here and stop spending your money there and stop spending your money on these games. Again, it's only the world's most popular sport because black people, as I see it, go out here and support that sport. And if it wasn't for us going out here and supporting that sport, we would see your soccer have some serious economic issues, the same way many of these basketball and football leagues struggle, like the NFL is having issues and the NBA is having issues. Again, you don't get respect by accepting disrespect. No, you get respect by taking your respect. And that's something that black people, whether they be African American or African or of African descent, need to understand. You don't show your value by allowing yourself to be devalued. No, the days of the old civil rights stand up and let people abuse you are over. No, you take respect by taking your presence away. And when you take your presence away and you all walk in large numbers away, you take your respect, because you don't need to sit there no matter how much they're paying the players or how much you care about this game. Your intangibles are more important, such as your dignity, your self-respect, and your self-worth. These are more important than going out here and getting on the acceptance of people with social currency as related to the soccer game. No, the soccer game is not worth your dignity and your self-respect. And again, these sports, the big problem is this is a global problem. And again, the global system of white supremacy is all about people trying to devalue black people and so that they can feel superior. And they need to feel like black people are at the bottom so that they can feel a sense of self-worth. So this is why they participate in racism in these games, because they do not want to see black people being dominant in the sport like the way black men in America are dominant in boxing, dominant in football, dominant in basketball, and were dominant in baseball until we lost interest due to the whole farm system, making it forever for a guy to come up and play Major League Baseball. Black men were dominating in these sports, and many of these white and non-black soccer players, they fear the whole idea of black men coming to dominate the sport. the same way Pele dominated the sport back in the 70s. They fear black dominance because many whites and non-blacks fear genetic annihilation, and seeing black people being strong and powerful, this is what upsets them. So this is why you see this racism going on internationally at all of these different venues. You see this racism going on because many people don't like the idea of black leadership, black dominance, and they don't like and then because they don't like seeing black dominance, they want to break a black person down. But the way a black person stands up is to go out here and again stop spending your money, because that sends a message to these people in your FIFA and your World Cup and many other leagues that if black people can't get respect, you can't get black dollars. And this again sends a message to these racists that you want to be a racist and a white supremacist, you go right ahead, but you'll do it without the black dollar. And again, this is how you get the intangible of respect, by not bringing your tangible backside to these places to be disrespected. Again, this is all about standing up for oneself, standing up for respect, standing up for dignity. And this is something black people all over the world need to do, because if we cannot get respect on the soccer field, then we have no business going to play soccer games. And again, the first thing that we need before you get on the field is respect, because if people feel it's okay to go out here and do Nazi salutes, throw bananas on the field, sing songs about Hitler, and participate in all kinds of really extremely egregious behavior, then we cannot go out here talking about we shall overcome. No, we overcome by going away and leaving them to go out here and go find the money to pay for their own games. Because if you don't want black people at playing your game or watching your game, then let's see how well you do without black dollars. And again, this is the message that foundational black Americans have been trying to send, and this is the message that we need to send all over the world as related to the racism in soccer and the racism in the UFC or racism in any of these sports, that if you want to go out here and get this bread and get this fan base, you need to go out here and show respect to black people. Now, this was a video requested by one of my viewers, and if you want to request a video, you can send a donation to the Cash App by clicking the link in the description box, and if I know something about that subject, I will make that video for you. And if you want to pick up some of my books on the SJS Direct imprint, which sell globally all over the world, you can pick up the ISIS series, the E-Steam series, the John Haynes series, the books of the Smith-Torella trilogy, the Thetas, Eternal Night, and my men's issues books on Amazon.com in paperback and Kindle format. You can also find those books at other online booksellers like Smashwords, the iBookstore, and Google Play. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe.
Now available in paperback and e-readers, E-Steam Horror of the Hyena Woman. Hell's aspiring angel takes on a wicked werewolf in this action-packed all-new E-Steam series adventure. Get E-Steam Horror of the Hyena Woman in paperback and e-readers today. Now available in paperback and e-readers, E-Steam Cancel Vacation. Hell's aspiring angel takes on a social justice, social media mob looking to cancel her in this all-new E-Steam series adventure. Get E-Steam Cancel Vacation in paperback